Hello, viewer. Once again, this is Counsellor's View, and today we are addressing on crime among the juveniles in the COVID-19 situation. You realize that criminal activities are becoming an increasing problem in Kenya, which calls for immediate intervention. It has been reported that the level of crime among teenage boys between 14 and 18 is really alarming. These are boys who were in school before the COVID. These crimes are rampant in big cities like Nairobi, Nakuru, Kisumu, name them, there are many. These crimes are getting their way into rural areas. We may think that we are safe, those people are in rural areas. They are paving their way into where we are living. Now, these crimes are really very touchy, and we should be addressing them as early as possible. Therefore, in order to safeguard our teenagers, the Counsellor's View wishes to address these crimes. Otherwise, by the time the school reopens, then you may realize that many our young boys will be behind bars. And in our studio, we have our guests with us, and we will be discussing that issue of crime among the juveniles. And we would like them to say hi to the viewer. And in my immediate left, Riza, Councillor Riza, say hi to the viewer.
Hello viewer, my name is Lisa Gota. I'm born again. I work for Mothers Union as the Mothers Union coordinator in ACK Diocese of Kirinyaga. I'm a counselor by profession too. I have a counseling office in Embu where we do general psychological counseling. Thank you.
Welcome, Councillor Lisa. And my immediate right, we have Councillor JB.
Hello viewer, my name is Reverend Dr. JB Mwangi. I'm a counselor by profession and a priest working in the Diocese of Kirinyaga. And I have a counseling center known as a Seed of Hope Counseling and Rehabilitation Center, whereby we are doing a lot of rehabilitation for young men and women who are actually overwhelmed by taking drugs and alcohol. We are also doing a lot of family therapies that we are uniting the families that are broken, and many other forms of counseling. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Welcome in the studio. And my extreme right, we have Councillor Kiai. Say hi to the viewer.
Hello viewer, I'm Reverend Jamule Kiai, a teacher at St. John's Laita Secondary School and a professional counselor. Welcome.
Thank you. I am Reverend Michael, the program host, and also the vicar of Kiandangai Parish, Diocese of Kirinyaga. Now, welcome in our discussion today. I hope it will be of great help to those who hear it today. And now, to begin with, Councillor Lisa, I always start with you.
Yeah.
Many a times when we are in such programs. Can you tell us what is really crime is, and forms or even some common crimes that are being committed by these young ones, the young boys?
Thank you very much, Reverend Michael. Crime is any act of omission or commission that violates the law of the land. Mm-hmm. In every country, in every land, there is something we call law. If you do something that is not in accordance with the law, it is called crime. It is done by people, it can be done by a nation. And in this case, of our major interest is the crime that is being committed by school-going teenagers, or what we call juvenile. Those people who are under the age of 18. Every day, while they are at home, every day we are seeing on social media, a child has been caught stealing, pickpocketing, or doing any sort of wrong thing. And you asked me some forms of crimes or the common crimes that they are engaging in. Before I even talk about them, I'd like to say they're engaging in these crimes, some of those crimes, as a form of looking for money as little as 50 bob, or as a pastime. It's not every person that is going to crime that is poor. It's really surprising that some of the gangs in Nairobi consist of children from the high-rise area of Nairobi. And some of those crimes are robberies, drug trafficking and drug use or abuse. We have cyber crimes. What are these cyber crimes? When these kids are very idle at home, they engage in the internet, and they find themselves calling us to tell them our PIN numbers, our ID numbers, so that they can hack maybe our bank accounts. Then we even have robberies with violence. A month ago, there was a young man who confessed, a young boy who confessed that they had been stealing money from people by beating them up. They even have arms, small arms, guns and so forth. We've also had a report of a group of young teenagers who engaged in crime. They actually were stealing only 6,000 shillings from a man who they beat up, and he was admitted in hospital for 3 weeks. So that is crime. Crime is doing things that are wrong in the eyes of the law and even in the eyes of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Michael.
Councillor Lisa. Thank you for reminding us what is really crime and some of the forms of crimes that have been committed by these juveniles. And it is interesting, if young boys can steal with violence, they can rob with violence, they can even kill just to earn a shilling or something like that. It's very, very interesting. And probably in the near future, we can have professional thieves who will be living on what they steal from other people. And it's very interesting to understand that, so that as we continue discussing with our topic today, we will realize that we have a lot to play wherever you are there as a viewer, so that you can assist the young one who is just within your reach. And now, Councillor Kiai, now we have been told what crime is and some of the crimes that have been done by these young boys. Now, what are the factors leading to these crimes? What are the real factors?
Thank you, Reverend Michael, for that question. And I believe that what I'm going to share with the viewer is of importance, because it's one good to understand what we are calling crime, as it has been defined and described by Councillor Lisa. And there's also to know what is it that is really leading to these crimes. Councillor Lisa has said very well, it's not necessarily that people are poor that they are stealing. There are people, or there are these juveniles who are stealing, and yet they come from those rich families in Nairobi. So what are the real causes or factors that are leading to this crime? Now, one of the things that we have and that is contributing to this crime and the rise in crime is the family background. This is because at the family level, this is where the nurturing, the training, the upbringing takes place. And so once there is a problem or there is a challenge at the family level, then we expect things to get out of hand or to get out of control. And then we find these youngsters getting involved in the kind of crimes that Councillor Lisa is talking about. Now, one of the things that we realize in our families, there are different types of families. We have been told this in sociology and all that. We have the extended family, we have the nuclear family, and we also have the single parent family, and also the sibling-led family. Now, the nature of the family has some impact on how these kids are going to behave, or they are going to be molded or nurtured. Research has indicated, unfortunately, that families from single parents have more challenges than complete families or families with both the parents or the extended families. Because there are some things this single parent may not be in a position to address in their kids or their children. For example, if it's a family, and most of the single parent families are led by ladies, a lady may not be in a position to fully connect with the boys in the family because they are looking for a father figure or something like that. And so that becomes a challenge to this child as they grow. And so in time or within time, they start looking either for the needs that have not been met by these parents. So the nature of the family, single parent versus the complete two-parent family and other. The other thing at the family level is the level of parental supervision. There are some parents who are only parents by name, and they don't care or they don't mind what their kids are doing from morning to evening or from morning to the other morning. They simply don't involve themselves in supervising what is going on. And that's why you find kids have time to engage in the internet, and then they go into the cyber crimes, and the parent is not even aware of what is going on because they have neglected that duty or that responsibility. So parental or the level of supervision at the family level is also an issue. Then there's also the type of parenting. In our previous programs, we have addressed the different types of parenting. And specifically, there's the parenting method that we call indulgent. You know, there are some parents, there's kabamba, kamama mentality. You know, they are just behaving like the kids. You cannot differentiate between the parent and the kid. They behave the same because they possibly want to please these children. So whatever the kids are doing, the parents are also involved. They don't really care. There is no element of discipline or restraint from the parent to the child. So that kind of a thing. Then also, there are also other parents that are very neglectful. As I've said, they don't supervise, they don't care, they are not there. Although they are just parents by label. Yes. So in such kind of parenting is also going to raise issues in the way this child grows or progresses in life. Then there is also the issue of conflict at the family level and the separation. Once the family becomes unstable because of conflict or because of separation, then this has an impact on the kid, on the child. In fact, it has been said, in any unstable family or a family that has conflict, the girl child is mostly affected and may find themselves involved in crime more than the boys, just because of the conflict, because of their makeup, their nature. So, the other thing at the family level, it has also been said and research has proved that the families that have a criminal background, either the father is a thug.
So you are saying even the girls can also be involved in crime?
Definitely. Yes, yeah. They're also involved. No, even girls are also criminals. And they also do they can even murder you. Yeah. Because of the different issues that are there. So we are also saying, if a family has a history of criminals, maybe one parent is a criminal, or an elder sibling is a criminal, there is a high tendency of the other kids following in the same steps, because that is what they have been seeing. That's the way they have been nurtured. That's the environment they are used to. So the family background or the family environment is one of the factors that is leading to this rise in crimes among the juveniles. Then the other one, and as this has also been said in other programs, is peer influence.
Peer influence.
Peer influence. This is very strong among these young ones, among the youth or the children. Now, when we talk about peer influence, we are talking of peer influence at two levels. Yes.
Yeah, Councillor Kiai, you come and begin at that. When we come back, our beloved viewer, you realize that we have been discussing about crime and what it is, and some forms of crime that are committed by the juveniles, and also we have also seen some of the factors that are leading to committing these crimes. Now, when we come back, we'll be looking at where our Councillor Kiai has stopped, some of the factors, and then we shall also address the mitigation. How do we address, how do we help our young ones to stop being involved in crimes? Once again, this is Counsellor's View, a program which is always come through Peter TV at the same time. And I hope it has been useful and to you when you view it. I'm Reverend Michael Gidinchi, the program host, and also the Vicar of Kiadangai Parish. Please be back in a short while.
Pillar TV, shaping your destiny. Coming soon on Pillar TV. Pillar TV, shaping your destiny.
Welcome back, viewer, again in our program Counsellor'S View. And just before we went for break. We said that we'll be addressing some of the factors that Counsellor Kiai was remaining, and then we talk about the mitigation and even the warrant to the parents concerning their children. Once again, I'm program host, Reverend Michael Gidinchi, Vika Kentangai Paris. Now, Counsellor Kiai, where did you stop about the factors leading to crime? Proceed.
Thank you, Reverend Michael. Before we went from break, I was talking about peer influence as one of the factors that is leading to these juvenile crimes. And I was saying that when you talk about peer influence, we are talking about peer influence in two forms. One is peer rejection. When a young one or these youths or juveniles, when they want to join their peers, and then these peers reject them out of one or two reasons. Possibly they feel they are not of their status, the same class, so economic class or something like that, or they could not be possibly owning. For example, if it's a peer group that is composed of young ones that can afford iPad, laptops, and this one doesn't have, he has the Kamuizi phone, this fellow will be rejected from the group. Now, when this kid is rejected, you also look for ways and means of acquiring one. Then he is led into crime. So rejection is a factor. At the same time, conformity. They will join, if somebody wants to join a group and is accepted, it's possibly it's a gang. They will have to conform and do what the others are doing so that they can fit in. So the rejection will drive this kid into crime so that they can come back and be accepted. They also want to conform with the others. So peer influence. Now the other factor, which is now very strong, especially at this particular time, when you're talking about COVID-19, is social disorganization. And when you're talking about social disorganization, we are talking about the breakdown or the absence of communal institutions that provide support to a child who is growing or developing. We are talking about the absence or the lack of school as at now. And that is why we are having so many problems. And that's why we are addressing this problem. School provides or becomes a container for these kids. And in school, there are rules and regulations. In school, there are provisions of different needs. And now that these people cannot attend school because there's lockdown and cessation and also the issue of the social gathering, then these kids have been left at home. So there's no one to control them the way they used to be controlled. So they become adventurous. They move around, discovering different things, and in the process find themselves involved in crime. The other institution, again, is the church. The churches were stopped together with the schools. You cannot attend the church, you cannot attend worship. We know very well that the church is very important and very critical in the building of the character and the morals and installation of values in an individual. Now, these kids can no longer access the church. So even where we say to bring up a child, the bringing up a child in the ways of the Lord is no longer there. So they do what they feel like doing. There's nobody to control them. That voice, we are told that is still a voice behind you telling you this is the way, walk in it, is no longer there. Because there is no church. In fact, I'm even now worried that we have been told everybody else can go to church, but the under 13s cannot go to church. What is going to happen to them? That is a very serious thing.
But Counsellor, can I realize that even a family is a social unit? And whatever you can do in church, can't you start at home, wherever you are? Does it mean that the church is the only one that's going to
Reverend
save
Michael,
our children?
Reverend Michael, we have only seen some of these homes are not functioning. There's already a problem in that family that we are talking about. So the vacuum remains. So that is very, very serious, and it is something that really needs to be examined. Then the social groups. Most of the times, and if you look around, every evening, every primary school ground is full of young boys going for soccer practice. The climax of this practice is usually on Sunday, when they gather for tournaments. That was banned together with the social gatherings. So these fellows, again, have nowhere to go and join their peers for support. And so they have nobody to control them. They don't have a way of utilizing the energy or the libido that we have talked about in our previous programs. So that disorganization and breakdown of those social and communal institutions is also a critical factor. The other one that has also been mentioned is the issue and the influence of social media. These people are learning so much from the social media, from the internet, and the desire to copy, to emulate, to practice what they have seen is very rife. And this is leading them to crime. And then finally, we can also talk about poverty. We have said there is economic breakdown because of the lockdown and the cessation and all that. Parents cannot afford even money to spare to give these kids to do whatever they may want to do. Remember, when these kids have been in school, the parents have been giving them pocket money. Now, this pocket money is no longer there. They cannot afford it. What do? They are going to look for ways and means of getting that income, that money, to go and fulfill their desires and their needs. So that poverty aspect is also contributing to the rise in crimes. So those are some of the things.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kiai. Viewer, those are some of the factors leading to crime of our children, and they are very real, they are very up to date, and they are saturating. They are very real, and we have to do something about them. Thank you very much, Councillor Kiai. I hope you have more time next time so that you can exhaust your list. And now, Councillor JB, now that we have seen the factors that are leading to crimes, how then do we alleviate them in our young ones?
Thank you, Reverend Michael. I want to say again, the ball stands with the parents. We cannot bury our heads in the sand and then say things that parents do not know how their sons or their daughters are like. Actually, they are the ones who are bringing them up. And you know your daughter, you know your son, you know what is happening around. And if you don't know, then you are to blame. If at all we have to alleviate some of these things, we must go to the parenting system again, where we say that the parent is supposed to work with the kid from childhood to adulthood. And actually that is where the ball remains. If at all the child is doing some things, it is the ignorance of the parent. Remember, Councillor Kiai have said it, what children are watching in the movies, in the videos, in the TV, they are trying to practice. And actually that is one area where our children are being taught about crime, because they are copying and they are trying to emulate what is happening there. The other thing is their peers. Monitor, let the parent monitor completely who are the friends of this young man or this young girl. And actually, as we say, whatever you learn from your friends, it is very easy for you to practice. Wherever these peers are teaching the youngster, be it a young boy or a young girl, it is very easy to do it, because you are going to be bullied by your peers. They are going to bully you, you are not doing this, you are not. If you want to fit there, you must do like what they are doing. And if you monitor who are the peer friends of your daughter, of your son, you are going to know that. Again, number 3, let us not pretend we are Christians. If our two parents are not practicing Christianity in their family, they are not teaching the moral values in the child. Actually, you cannot expect this child to grow as a person with morals. Then in fact, the immorality that is they are practicing is due to lack of the moral values in the family setting. You know, if they have the moral values in the setting, actually they are going to respect other people's properties. So church is a must, or religion is a must in the family setting, so that they can have the respect for God, respect for other people's properties, and these kind of things. The other thing is we must also teach our children to work. Yes, because they are very much idle. And this idleness, of course, they have their own personal needs. And if at all they have their own personal needs, they will steal small things so that they can get some money. If at all these children are taught to work with their own hands, actually rearing chicken, even if there are 2 chicken at the home there, one can sell eggs, one can sell that chicken and get some money. Instead, actually, if they are just idle, they are watching TV 24/7, and then they need money, and they don't have money, like Lebredica is saying. If they don't have money, the poverty will lead them to stealing and to committing crime. But if at all they are working and then getting some little money from their work, actually they will not go to stealing. They are not going to actually be interested with the neighbors' properties. So the end stands with the parent. And actually parent must be a role model, and they must stand at the gap if at all they want to alleviate and they want to mitigate this problem of crime.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Na tunashukuru. We are so happy about your sentiment. Viewer, you realize that once again we are going back to parents. Parents have a very great responsibility to pray if these crimes have come to end within our children. It's very interesting that you have to get involved in your children development, day in, day out, befriending that child, working with that child, being a role model. This has been talked about day in, day out. You have to set an example. Instead of just throwing hands and saying, these are rotten generation, you need to take your responsibility as a parent. Now,
another thing, Michael,
yes?
let me remind you another thing that I've just remembered. Some parents are encouraging their children to be thugs. Because if a child comes with a jacket, with something from somewhere, and you are not asking where does this come from,
and you know about it.
And you don't worry about it. A child comes with a cabbage, and then you cook supper for that day. You are encouraging nonsense. You are encouraging stealing in the family. And because the child will be very happy, and you will say, oh, even tomorrow I will come with oranges and whatever. Stealing starts in a very small way. Burglary starts in a very small way. Crime starts at home. We need to mitigate by.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
This
has been happening, viewer, in our schools, whereby a child can steal a furoba of some another child, and when you come with that furoba, you can't even ask where did you got it from, and then you encourage that person to continue stealing, and the next time will be stealing at home. Now, Counsellor Liza, now what advice can you tell our parents on juvenile crime? Juvenile crime.
Thank you very much, Reverend Michael. I want to tell parents it is real. Our children are right into crime. I was reading a caption written by a policeman saying that parents are walking into the police station and actually complaining, or they are so angry and they say, my child did not steal, my child cannot be violent, my child cannot kill. Yet there is real incriminating evidence. I want to tell parents it lies with them. Know your child, investigate your child, know everything about your child's steps. For example, the gangs in Nairobi that are stealing and killing, they are forming WhatsApp groups. That the WhatsApp groups are meant to discuss the crime and how to commit it and the strategies. Where are you, parent, when your child has a group and you do not even know? With that very phone you bought them. Know your child, make friends with your child, so that you can even realize they are wearing a different shoe than you bought them. Then you can realize they have a new shirt and you can ask where it is. The other thing, if you know your child, you can even read anxiety in their faces. After stealing and they are fearing police, they are anxious. So you can tell there's something they are troubled about. So for me, parents, take your responsibility. Know your child from their facial expression to their possessions, to their behavior with their phone, and everything around them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Councillor Riza. Thank you very much, our guest, for your sentiment. Thank you very much for taking your time and also to let us understand what crime is and the factors and also the mitigation and also the advice that we can give to our dear parents who have very heavy responsibility to bring up their children. Viewer, we have to come to the end of our program on crimes that have been committed by the juveniles. You realize that these crimes are there. We don't just pretend they are there, and they are very real. So, and the bottom line of everything, parents, you have a responsibility to know. That's the one, underlying one, to know your child. Understand your child. Understand the new things that he or he is bringing in your house. So, read the anxieties of your own child so that you can be able to help him grow to adulthood. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you'll be a failure and a big failure as a parent. Viewer, we have to come to the end of our program, Counsellor's View. Once again, I'm the program host, Reverend Michael Githinchi, Kiatangai Parish Priest, and we are happy that you have been following these episodes from time to time. We will be bringing these other more episodes a time like this, like today, the same time. See you until we meet next time. Bye.